Do you know that feeling when you have an incredible breakthrough? Maybe you feel like a completely different person and you're walking around thinking, this is it. I have finally changed. Then maybe 3 days later, you're back to your old patterns wondering what the hell just happened. Well, don't worry, because I lived that cycle for years, okay? And I want to show you why it kept happening to me and exactly how I finally broke free from constantly going back to my old self. So you ready? Because what I'm about to share is going to explain why our transformations keep disappearing and why our breakthroughs feel like they have an expiration date and how to actually make them permanent so we don't have to start over again. Because that's annoying. And I used to think reverting means that I was failing, that I lacked discipline or even willpower, right? And I'm sure you've thought that as well. Worst of all, I thought it meant that I had to start back at the very start. Oh my God. But something happened that changed everything for me. Well, I realized that our old self isn't just thoughts and behaviors, but it's an energetic frequency that our body is literally addicted to, like caffeine, like sugar, even drugs. So once I understood this addiction, and once we learn how to work with our nervous system instead of fighting against it, you can finally make your new self so energetically solid that our old programs can't pull us back in anymore. So that means our transformation becomes permanent instead of temporary. It becomes lasting instead of fleeting, and it becomes real instead of imaginary. So I want to break down the complete system that actually ended my reversion cycle forever. Every technique, every breakthrough, every method that I made, that made my new identity unshakable. I want to give you that as well. So we're going deep. We'll go all the way. Because I was the king of temporary transformation. Let's just say that. I was the king of temporary transformation. The king of short-lived change. And I was annoyed. Because I would have powerful realizations that made me feel like a completely different person. And I would walk around for days feeling invincible, feeling brand new. I'd be confident for a week. I'd be abundant-minded for a few days. I would be totally aligned with my higher self. I would be making decisions from this place, feeling like I was finally living my truth, finally being my authentic self, who I really was. But then one morning I would wake up and it was just gone. And I would catch myself in the same old thought patterns once again. Then I would go back to making the same old decisions as my old self. And then, worst of all, I would go back to feeling the same old emotions. Same thoughts. And then I felt like I had left behind my old self. And I was back to square one. Back to the starting line. It was like this, like my old self had this pull. It kept pulling me. Can you relate to that? And I know you know what I'm talking about because that would just suck me back into my old self, no matter how hard I tried to stay in my new identity. And then I would start beating myself up for it, thinking shit like, why can't I stay in my new self? Why do I keep going back when I know better? And the worst of all is, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Maybe I'm just not strong enough. Maybe I'm not disciplined enough. Maybe I'm not worthy enough. You know what I'm talking about, right? Those thoughts started sucking me deeper. So deep that I started believing them. I started believing those lies. So what do I do when I had those thoughts and it sucked me deeper? Well, I would work even harder on my inner work. Have another breakthrough, feel transformed again, then boom, right back to square one. Like being in a wheel, right? Just tiring myself out, but using so much energy. Listen to this, it gets worse. I would see other people who seem to transform once and stay transformed, right? They would have one mystical experience of or even a breakthrough, and their whole life would instantly transform. Meanwhile, I'm over here having breakthrough after breakthrough, and nothing is sticking. Like, come on, universe. But then, I was in meditation one time and I had an epiphany. And I wasn't going back to my old self because I lacked willpower or even commitment. I kept reverting because my old identity was an energetic frequency that my body was literally addicted to. So my nervous system was hooked, addicted on the emotions of my old self, the familiar emotions of my old self. So once I understood my body was just addicted and learned the specific techniques to break it, not only did I stop reverting, but now I help my clients do the same. and I help make their transformation permanent instead of temporary. And it's worked in my life. I've seen my clients who have been stuck in cycles of therapy, endless therapy sessions, personal developments for decades, finally break free. So I want to share every insight, every method that made a difference between temporary change and permanent transformation. And around 3 years ago, meditation started clicking for me. And there was one time for about a week, I was unstoppable. I felt unstoppable. I was this confident version of me, the version of me that I've always wanted to be. Well, the true version of me, basically. I was taking actions I'd never taken before, having conversations that I've been avoiding for years, and I was showing up in different ways. I was showing up in a completely authentic and powerful way. I would wake up thinking I'm powerful. I'd look in the mirror, my bathroom mirror, and see this new person staring back at me. I would make decisions and think, this is who I really am. This is my authentic self, the real me. And then, day 8 arrived, like someone rocking up uninvited to a party. I woke up and something felt different. That powerful feeling was fading. Those confident thoughts were quieter. The elevated energy was draining away, like water with like a bucket with a hole in the bottom. And by day 10, I was checking my phone first thing in the morning, right back to my old self. And by day 12, I started procrastinating on important things. And honestly, 2 weeks later, I was literally right back to the familiar old self of anxiety, comfortable limitations, and talking shit about myself. And I couldn't understand what the heck was happening. I would think, but I had a breakthrough. I had a breakthrough moment. I did felt that shift. I know I'm different. I experienced the transformation. Like my body knew it was real. That was authentic. Nope, I went back to my old patterns. I remember this one time for a week. I felt abundant. I made decisions from abundance, and I stopped checking my bank account with anxiety, and I stopped looking for signs that my manifestation was working. Then my laptop stopped working, and I had to buy a new one, and instantly went back into my old self. Within hours, I was back to my old scarcity and lack-minded mindset, like the breakthrough never happened. And this kept happening over and over again. Breakthrough, transformation, then back to my old self. Breakthrough, transformation, back to my old self. I even went to a couple of Joe Dispenza, I think my first 3 Joe Dispenza retreats. I would come back, transform, feeling great at the retreat, and then 3 months later, back to my old self. And I was like, something's missing. What the heck is happening with all this transformation of stuff? But the problem was I wasn't having real breakthroughs. They were real. Maybe the problem was that I didn't know how to make them stick. I didn't have a system to maintain them. I didn't understand the mechanics of permanent change. Then I stumbled upon something. Are you ready for this? Because this is the moment that separated my old life of temporary change from this new life of permanent change. And I realized my old identity wasn't just thoughts and behaviors. It was an energetic frequency that my body was literally addicted to. Okay? Just like how my body or our body craves coffee, if you're a coffee drinker like me. It craves at the same time every single day. Okay? So it was craving the familiar emotional cocktail of my old self. My nervous system was like, oh. Okay, think of your nervous system as like a drug dealer. Okay, your beautiful nervous system is a drug dealer. And it only sells one thing, familiar feelings, okay? It doesn't care if those feelings are either good or bad, healthy or toxic, empowering or limiting. It just wants what it knows, what it's used to, okay? Remember that. So when I have a breakthrough and start operating from my new frequency, my nervous system goes into withdrawal mode. It's like, whoa, this is new. And it would start craving those familiar stress hormones, those predictable chemicals of anxiety, stress, the comfortable limiting emotions, okay? Like a sugar addict that's stopped deciding to eat sugar is craving sugar now. And that's easy, right? That's what everything clicked for me. I wasn't falling because I reverted. I was experiencing withdrawal from my old identity with my old frequency. My body was going through a detox, a purging from the familiar emotions and thought patterns that had been addicted to me for years, or I have been addicted to for years, maybe even decades, right? How long have you been anxious? How long have you been depressed? How long have you been talking shit about yourself? Once I understood this, I stopped judging myself for reverting. I stopped thinking there was something wrong with me. I realized this is part of the process. It's a biological process. It has nothing to do with me, not a character flaw. My nervous system was doing what nervous systems do, trying to maintain homeostasis. Okay? So, by understanding the addiction was just the first step. I had to develop specific techniques to break the addiction and make my new identity stronger than my old one. Now pay attention and take some notes. And drop them in the comment section for other people to have a look at them as well. Now, I call this, this is what I do in the mornings, okay? Listen carefully to this. The biggest mistake I was making, and maybe you're making it too, was letting my environment program me before I program myself. What does that mean? Well, I wake up and I reach for this little thing over here, like my life depended on it. Okay, I'll check my messages and see something trigger, then boom. I look at my messages, something will trigger me, bang. Old self activated before I even got out of bed. I'd see an email that stressed me out, maybe a text that annoyed me, a social media post that made me want to compare myself to another person, made me feel insecure, and within even minutes of waking up, I haven't even brushed my teeth yet or went to the toilet, my old frequency fully activated. Now my new self didn't stand a chance. So I changed it. I made the first hour upon waking up sacred. Before I do anything else, I mean anything else, I activated my new frequency through meditation. No phone, no distraction, no external input until I locked in my new frequency. So here is the step-by-step method. Okay, first, coherent breathing. Simply breathe deeply and get as relaxed as possible. I regulate my nervous system and drop into a relaxed state. That's it. This gets me out of fight or flight and into creation mode, out of survival and into thriving. Okay, super simple. Second, I embody my new self's emotions. Okay, don't think about feeling confident. I feel confidence in my body. And I'm not visualizing being abundant. I experience abundance in my chest, in my cells, in my field. And I make my new identity a lived experience. I'm not thinking of anything. I am experiencing. See the difference? Thoughts are the language of the brain. Experiences are emotions, are language of the body. Okay? That's from Dr. Joe. Third, I mentally rehearse how I'll show up today. Listen to this. I see myself responding to challenges from my new identity, making decisions from my new identity, maintaining my new identity no matter what the day brings. Did you hear that? No matter what the day brings. So I prepare my nervous system for success. I prepare it for what it's going to anticipate. And this locks in my new frequency before anything external can activate my old one, or anything external can try to pull me back into my old one. Just like how a radio station broadcasts things, okay? My new frequency is now being broadcasted, okay? It's being broadcasted throughout the day. And I make decisions as my new self. Now, listen to this. Every decision is either a vote for my old self or the new self. How I respond to a text, whether I hit snooze, how I interact with others, how I interact with my team, how I'm driving in traffic. Now, before each decision, I ask, what would my new self or new self, how would my new self or old self make this choice? And I promise you, the old self will start peaking, okay? We don't revert once. We revert through small 1,000 different decisions. The old self hits the snooze button 5 times. The new self gets up in the first alarm. The old self doom scrolls for an hour. The new self meditates in the morning. See the difference? Here's another game changer. Disruption. I learned that revision happens when we go unconscious and let autopilot take over, okay? So I created pattern interrupts throughout the day to keep me conscious. Every time I walk through a door, I take a conscious breath and check my frequency, okay? Every time I sit down, I adjust my posture to match my new identity. Every time I look in the mirror, give yourself a wink. Give yourself a wink, make eye contact with yourself, whatever. Because these disruptions keep me conscious and prevent my brain from slipping into the old self. It's like alarm clocks throughout the day, reminding me, hey, stay awake, stay conscious, okay? Stay in your new identity. Can you be that devoted? I bet you can. You've got to be that willing and love yourself so much that you can, okay? Now, keep it in your pants because I'm about to share the most advanced technique that made my transformation unshakable, okay? This is going to be the next level, so pay attention. This is where temporary change becomes permanent transformation. Now, this might be uncomfortable, but I had to get ruthless about boundaries. I mean, ruthless, okay? Certain people, conversations, certain situations, putting myself in certain environments that would pull me back into my old self. Like, if I was in those situations, whatever that situation was, had a remote control that would instantly pull me back into my old identity. Okay? Let me give you an example. Family gatherings where everyone treated me like my old self. They saw me as my old self. Friends who only saw me as my limited version. Old situations where it would trigger my old insecurities. I knew it all. I mapped out each one, which people, environments triggered my old identity. Okay? I needed to get specific. I wrote it down and identified exactly what those situations did and how they reverted me back to my old self. So, in family gatherings, I would spend 10 minutes in my car practicing my frequency and setting the intention to maintain it no matter what. Because let me tell you, if you've been in Filipino gatherings, oh my God, we have aunties that tell us we're fat just for the fuck of it. Anyway, I would get coherent, sit in my car, close my eyes, regulate my breathing, and activate my new frequency. Okay? I would literally tell myself, no matter what happens in there, I am maintaining this new frequency no matter what. If my auntie calls me fat, I'm going to smile at her and be like, okay, auntie, I am. I will show up as my new self, not available for old patterns. Okay? That's when everything changed. Because I stopped spending time thinking about being my new self and started spending time being my new self. So I'm practicing my new self while my auntie is calling me fat. Okay? I practice my new identity's confident walk, their relaxed posture, their calm tone of voice, their way of breathing, how they move through space. Okay? This makes my new self a lived experience in my body, not just in my mind. Your body has memory. Your cells have memory. Our nervous system has memory. And if you only think about your new identity but never embody it physically, your body doesn't believe it's real. However, when you move as your new self, speak as your new self, breathe as your new self, your body starts to believe it. All right, let's seal the deal with this, okay? Instead of, this is so important. Instead of treating reversion or going back as failure, I created a specific system for when I slip, because we will slip. Yep, it's part of the process. But slipping doesn't have to become spiraling. The moment I noticed I reverted, the key is noticing quickly. Pause, acknowledge it without judgment. That's just my old self. That is my old self. Okay? And I would consciously breathe and activate my new frequency again through breath and embodiment. Okay? Here's how you do it. Step 1, notice that you were slipping without judgment. Step 2, acknowledge the old pattern with gratitude. And step 3, take a couple of big deep breaths to get back into coherence. And step 4, go back to embodying your new identity physically. Work on your posture and then move. Step 5, make a new choice from your new self. That's it. That turns revision from spiral into course correction. But it gets even more exciting. Because after 30 days of this system, something crazy happens, something profound happens that will change your life forever. You hit a point where our new identity feels more natural than our old one. Our old self starts feeling like a costume that we used to wear, like a mask that we just take off. When stressful situations arise, our new self starts to respond automatically. We don't even have to think about it, okay? This is when you know the frequency mapping has worked. Your new identity has become your nervous system's default operating system. Reverting would actually require effort because your new self has become your natural state, okay? It's now your authentic expression, our true frequency. Now, this is just Newtonian talk, linear talk, but it could happen for different times for different people. Anyway, for me, it happened around day 32 of this consistent practice. And I was normally in a situation that would normally trigger my old self, a challenging conversation with someone who had intimidated me. Okay, let's just say that. And instead of having to consciously choose my new response, my new self just showed up automatically without effort. And I remember thinking after that conversation, wait, I didn't have to just try to be confident just then. I was just confident. And that wasn't me performing confidence. That was me being confidence. That's when I knew the transformation had become permanent. You know you've hardwired it in when your new thoughts feel normal, your new emotions feel natural, and your new behaviors feel automatic. When people comment that you seem different, like you're just being yourself, that is when you know your new identity feels more real than your old one ever did. So here's what's happening at a biological level. And it's that your new neural pathways have been rewired. Your old patterns have weakened from not being used. Okay, you're not feeding them anymore. And our new patterns have strengthened through consistent activation. And our nervous system has accepted your new identity as safe and familiar. That is now your new homeostasis set point. This is when transformation becomes permanent instead of temporary. When your new identity becomes unshakable because it's not something you're trying to maintain. It's something you naturally are. It's not effort, it's expression. It's not performance, but it's presence. And the beautiful part is, once you reach this point, you stop worrying about going back. You stop monitoring yourself consistently. You stop obsessing with maintaining your new identity. You stop obsessing about being high vibe all the time. Because now it's just who you are. It's your new normal, your new baseline, and your new default. And when you master this, when you stop reverting and start maintaining, that's when your transformation becomes permanent instead of temporary. When your new self becomes unshakable, oh my God, you wake up every morning feeling like your authentic self. Not trying to become someone new, not even forcing yourself to maintain a new identity, but naturally being the person you've always known you could be. The person you were meant to be. The person who you truly are. That's right. Because these limitations, these lies, these limiting beliefs, whatever you want to call them, they are just masks, false identities that you take off. Instead of constantly fighting against reversion, I now live as in my new identity as natural as breathing. Instead of temporary breakthroughs followed by disappointing setbacks, I experience continuous growth and expansion. Instead of feeling I'm taking 2 steps forward and 3 steps back, I'm now moving forward consistently. When your new identity becomes solid, everything in your life starts aligning with it. Your relationships improve because you are constantly showing up as your authentic self. Opportunities multiply because you're broadcasting a stable, coherent frequency. Your health improves because you're taking care of yourself from your new identity. Like dropping a stone in a pond, the ripples spread out in every direction. Because when you change your frequency, everything connected to it changes too. Your thoughts, emotions, behaviors, your relationships, opportunities, your entire reality. And listen to this. It's not even about achieving your goals or getting what you want. But for me, I learned that it's about the true freedom of finally being yourself. The relief of not having to pretend anymore. The peace of not having to fight against yourself. That's so worth it. That is so worth it. Worth more than $1 million. Fully. This is not about stopping revision. This is about becoming, being. This is not about just maintaining changes. It's about embodying your higher self. And this is the difference between temporary transformation and permanent evolution. Between trying and being. Between performing and expressing. When you master your frequency, you don't just stop reverting. You become unshakable. You don't need to maintain your new self. You embody or return to your true self. And you don't just avoid going backwards. You keep moving forward. You don't change, you transform. I want to share something with you. You are not failing when you revert. You are just missing the specific techniques to make your new identity stronger than your old one. And if you've been stuck in the reversion cycle, you keep reverting back to your old self. And if you've had powerful breakthroughs like me that fade away like morning mist, and if you're tired of temporary transformation and ready for permanent change, then check out the link in the description below. And if you would like my help in this permanent change, instead of going 2 steps forward and 3 steps back, then check out the link in the description if you want to check it out. Remember, you are not here to keep changing. You are here to become. You are not here to have temporary breakthroughs. You are here to experience permanent transformation. And you are not here to revert. You are here to evolve. And you are not here to try, but you are here to be.